In the introduction of Book 2 of The Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith tells us how the improvement of society has led to more stock being necessary to run our lives. If you want to produce stuff, you need some machines. If you want to divide labor up between a lot of people, you'll need a building to put those people in. And if you want to trade, you'll have to find a way to move your stuff from A to B. This chapter is about the division of all this stock. Imagine you're someone who has enough stock to last you for a few days or weeks. You're gonna keep all of that around and consume it, and you'll sell your labor to acquire more stock because you know that otherwise you will eventually run out of stock. Now imagine that you have a lot of stock. Enough to last you months or even years to come. You'll probably want to keep some of it around, but there's no need to keep all of it around because you know that eventually through working you'll acquire even more. Once you've set aside enough for your own needs, you can take that excess stock and use it to generate revenue. You can pay people to build a bridge and eventually charge money for walking across it. You can start your own little brewery, or you can invest it in Bitcoin. Don't do that last one. Smith calls this stock, which is not needed for consumption but can be invested to generate revenue, capital. According to him, there are two different ways to use this capital. Either you invest it in buying or manufacturing goods to then sell on. Here, your capital constantly changes its form, from coins to wood to spoons to coins again, constantly circulating. Smith calls this circulating capital. Or you can use your capital to improve land. For example, by purchasing machines that generate revenue for you without you having to sell them. Here the capital stays with you in the form of machines or buildings. Smith calls this fixed capital. Running a business will likely require a combination of those two forms of capital. This combination can vary quite a bit depending on what business you're in. A merchant, for example, needs a lot of circulating capital, the stuff he trades, but only very little fixed capital, maybe a warehouse or a store. A steel producer, on the other hand, needs a lot of fixed capital. The furnaces, a whole bunch of machines, and a lot of additional equipment. Smith now takes a more broad perspective and tells us that the general stock of a country is really just a stock of all of its members added up. It divides itself into three portions. The first is what's needed for consumption. Food, clothing, household furniture, and all that good stuff. Something is only in that category if it doesn't produce revenue. If you rent out your fancy new phone on the playground in exchange for candy, then it's considered capital. The second is fixed capital. Machines, buildings, farms, and any useful ability you might have. Which means Smith is already talking about what's called human capital here. All that stuff is only in that category if it produces revenue. The third is circulating capital. Money, a stock of provisions, like corn for the farmer or meat for the butcher, materials which have not yet been made into final products, like wood for a carpenter, and anything not yet but soon to be sold at the market, like furniture. Something is only considered circulating capital if it produces revenue when it's being traded. Every fixed capital stems from and has to be supported by circulating capital. A machine was built with material, and at the time it was sold, it was circulating capital. Now it has to be maintained with oil and run with electricity. The most useful machines and instruments of trade will produce nothing without the circulating capital, which affords them materials they are employed upon and the maintenance of the workmen who employ them. In other words, having a big machine is useless when you don't have the circulating capital to keep it running. In the end, both fixed and circulating capital only serve to provide society with products for consumption. How much stuff is available for consumption depends in part on how much capital is available to produce it. An economy continuously withdraws stock from the market by converting circulating capital into stuff to consume. Therefore, it has to continuously supply its circulating capital so it doesn't run out. This, so Smith, is done by getting produce from land, mines, or fisheries. These supply us with continuous resources. In any safe and secure country, every person will use their capital to either produce present enjoyment or future profits. If your stock produces profit, it does so either by staying with you or leaving you. In a country where there is no safety, this is more problematic. A person will carry their stock with them or hide it in fear of it being taken away. Thereby, that stock will not generate revenue and the whole society will be worse off for it. Congrats, you made it to book 2. you're awesome.